I was just 4 months old. I was born in August, and he passed away in December. I did. I pretty much grew up in the church, just like my father did.
Was Bobby Womack the most disrespectful man in history? He was a legend, releasing 23 albums and being inducted into the Cleveland Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2009. But guess what? Not everyone is celebrating his fame. Some people are throwing major shade, saying he's not worth much. Why? Well, it started when Sam Cooke, Womack's friend and mentor, was assassinated in '64. Bobby showed up at Sam's funeral, but he didn't just come to pay respects. No, he arrived in Sam's car, dressed in Sam's sharpest suit, and, brace yourselves, had Sam's widow on his arm. If you think that's wild, hold on. Bobby didn't stop there. He went ahead and married Sam's widow just 77 days after his tragic death. And if you think that's messy, things are about to get even more scandalous. Bobby cranked up the drama by having a fling with his stepdaughter. The same stepdaughter who later married his brother and had 7 kids together. It's crazy, right? So hold on to your popcorn as we delve into this complicated story, especially now that his daughter confirms the rumors 10 years after Bobby Womack's death. But where does it all begin? Bobby Womack's story is a whirlwind from the start. Bobby Womack was born in Cleveland's Fairfax neighborhood near East 85th Street and Quincy Avenue to Naomi and Friendly Womack. He was the third of 5 sons, with Friendly Jr. and Curtis being his older brothers and Harry and Cecil his younger ones. Growing up in the Cleveland slums, the family was so poor they would fish pig snouts out of the local supermarket's trash. Bobby had to share a bed with his brothers. His mother would often tell him, "You can sing your way out of the ghetto." Reflecting on his childhood, Bobby said, "We came up very poor. My kids have had a much better life than I'd ever thought of living," and joked, "The neighborhood was so ghetto that we didn't bother the rats, and they didn't bother us." Raised in a Baptist household, Bobby's mother played the organ for the church choir, and his father was a steel worker, part-time minister, and musician who played the guitar and sang gospel. Despite their father's strict orders not to touch his guitar while he was away, all 5 brothers regularly played it when he was at work. One night, 8-year-old Bobby broke a guitar string and tried to replace it with a shoelace. When their father deduced that Bobby, missing a shoelace, had broken the string, he offered Bobby the chance to play for him instead of receiving a whipping. "Man, I played Andres Segovia, Elmore James, and B.B. King. Even with one string short, I played classical music, soul, country, and western, and rock and roll. I played my ass off, every lick I knew, and then some I didn't. When I finished, Dad was in shock. He couldn't believe how good I had gotten, and he'd been real selfish holding on to that guitar for himself," Bobby recalled. Soon afterward, Friendly bought guitars for all 5 of his sons. Because Bobby was left-handed, he flipped his guitar upside down to play, not knowing that it could have been restrung for a left-handed player. By the mid-1950s, 10-year-old Bobby Womack was touring with his brothers on the Midwest gospel circuit as the Womack Brothers, with their mother Naomi on organ and their father, Friendly Sr., on guitar. In 1954, they released the single Buffalo Bill under the name Curtis Womack and the Womack Brothers. More records followed. Sam Cooke, the lead singer of the Soul Stirrers, first saw the group performing in the mid-1950s and became their mentor, helping them go on national tours with the staple singers. Although Curtis often sang lead, Bobby was allowed to sing alongside him, showcasing his gruff baritone vocals in contrast to his older brother's smoother tenor. During performances, Bobby would sometimes imitate the role of a preacher, earning him the nickname The Preacher. At just 16, Bobby dropped out of high school. In the early 1960s, Cooke formed SAR Records and signed the quintet to the label in 1961, where they released several gospel singles. Cooke then changed their name to the Valentinos, moved them to Los Angeles, and convinced them to transition from gospel to a secular soul and pop-influenced sound. Cooke produced and arranged their first hit single, Lookin' for a Love, a pop version of the gospel song Couldn't Hear Nobody Pray. The song became an R&B hit and helped land the group an opening spot for James Brown's tour. Their next hit came in 1964 with the country-tinged "It's All Over Now," co-composed by Bobby. This pivotal moment sparked a deep and enduring connection between Bobby Womack and Sam Cooke, profoundly shaping Womack's life and musical journey. Bobby reached out to Sam, reminiscing, "Remember the Womack brothers? The ones who used to open for you years ago? They're still around." Sam inquired, "Can they still sing?" Bobby confidently replied, "Can they sing? Oh man, they're tough." Meanwhile, during this dynamic period, Sam Cooke was forging ahead with his own ventures. In 1961, he established SAR Records and signed the Womack Quintet, rebranding them as the Valentinos, urging them to delve into the soulful realms of R&B. Just as their career was gaining momentum, tragedy struck. In 1964, Sam Cooke tragically lost his life, shot at the Hacienda Motel in Los Angeles. This shocking event not only sent shockwaves through the music industry, but also profoundly altered the course of Bobby Womack's emerging career. For Bobby, this period marked a tumultuous intersection of grief and fame. He had to navigate the emotional turmoil of losing his mentor and friend while grappling with the newfound pressures and opportunities of a burgeoning music career. Amidst this storm, Bobby's connection with Sam's widow, Barbara Cooke, became a point of intense public scrutiny and controversy, shaping his personal life alongside his professional endeavors. But let's rewind and delve into how it all began. At the tender age of 18, Sam Cooke crossed paths with the youthful and captivating Barbara Campbell, who was just 13 at the time. Fast forward to 1953 when Barbara, then 17 years old, welcomed their daughter Linda into the world. Life, however, took unexpected turns. Both Sam and Barbara ventured into marriages with other partners. Yet fate intervened, and after a series of marriages and separations, they eventually found their way back to each other. It wasn't until 6 years after Linda's birth that they officially tied the knot, adding 2 more children to their family, Tracy and Vincent. Their marriage, though, was fraught with turbulence, largely due to Sam's well-documented infidelities. The family suffered a profound tragedy when, just a year before Sam's untimely death, their third child tragically drowned in a pool at only 18 months old. Overwhelmed by grief and grappling with the controversies surrounding her husband's death, Barbara confided to biographer Peter Goralnik that these heart-wrenching losses left her vulnerable. It was during this tumultuous time that she found solace in the company of Bobby Womack, a much younger 19-year-old who bridged the decade between them. They forged an unexpected and somewhat controversial bond. Can you believe it? Bobby Womack made quite the entrance at Sam Cooke's funeral, arriving not in just any car, but in Cooke's own vehicle, decked out in one of Cooke's suits. And who accompanied him? None other than Barbara, Sam Cooke's former wife. But here's where it gets even more unbelievable. On February 26, 1965, a mere 2 months after Sam Cooke's tragic passing, his 20-year-old protege, Bobby Womack, attempted to step into a new role. Dressed in another of Cooke's sharp suits, Bobby and Barbara strutted into the L.A. County Courthouse, ready to exchange vows in front of a swarm of reporters. Yet their plans hit a snag when their marriage application was swiftly rejected. The reason? Bobby, not yet 21, lacked the necessary parental consent. But fear not. As soon as Bobby turned 21 on March 5th, they swiftly made it official without skipping a beat. Just 3 months after Sam Cooke's funeral, Barbara's persistence paid off, as Bobby recounts in his memoir. "Give me 5 years," she told him, "and I'll give you a lifetime." Now that's quite the pitch. Fast forward to February 18, 1965, when Jet magazine stunned readers with the headline, "Bobby and Barbara are now Mr. and Mrs." The news sparked uproar among friends, fans, and even family who saw it as the ultimate betrayal. Bobby found himself booed off stages and dodging punches from Barbara's enraged brother. Adding to the chaos, even Cooke's father voiced concerns about Bobby's presence around Cooke's young daughter, Linda. Despite the tumult, Bobby remained steadfast, claiming that Sam Cooke would have approved. Amidst the controversy, Bobby maintained that everything was above board. But then, just when you thought things couldn't get more scandalous, Bobby did something so outrageous that it completely shattered their marriage. What on earth was he thinking? Bobby's affair with Sam Cooke's ex-wife, Barbara, ignited a firestorm of controversy. In 1970, after 6 years of marriage, Barbara walked in on Bobby entangled in a sheet with her 18-year-old daughter, Linda. Can you believe it? Outraged by what she saw, Barbara reacted with the fury only a scorned woman could muster. She grabbed a gun and shot Bobby. Fortunately for him, the bullet only grazed his temple. Talk about a dramatic turn of events. Now, where do you think Linda's heart strayed after this explosive love triangle? Right into the arms of Bobby's younger brother, Cecil. They even formed a band called Womack and Womack. Have you heard their hits like Love Wars, Radio MUSIC Man, Starbright, and Conscious of My Conscience? But in the whirlwind saga of Linda and Cecil, tragedy struck when their son Vincent, named in tribute to Linda's late brother, tragically took his own life at just 21. Despite the profound loss casting shadows over their lives, Linda and Cecil's bond proved unbreakable, lasting until Cecil's passing in 2013. When Bobby released one of his final chart-topping hits, I Wish He Didn't Trust Me So Much, he opened with poignant lyrics. I'm the best friend he's got. I'd give him the shirt off my back. He knows he can trust me with his life. But each time he leaves me alone with his wife. Many listeners speculated that these lyrics hinted at Bobby's relationship with Barbara and the controversial speed at which they became a couple. Songwriter Jonta Austin tweeted, "When you consider that Bobby Womack attended Sam Cooke's funeral wearing one of Sam's suits, and then later married Sam's widow and slept with Sam's daughter, then his tune, I Wish He Didn't Trust Me So Much, could be interpreted as a diss record. And a savage one at that," Austin added. However, Bobby clarified that the song wasn't about an actual affair, but expressed the singer's longing for his friend's woman. The lyrics convey, "There's a way she make me feel, Lord, I'm scared, so scared of what I do. If she starts feeling the same way too. It's not that she leads me on," the song continues. "I'm getting there all by myself." In his memoir, Bobby insisted that his relationship with Barbara began after Sam's passing, debunking speculation that the Billboard R&B Top 10 single was about Cooke. At the time of Bobby's death in 2014, the complex web of relationships remained strained. "I don't speak to Barbara no more," Bobby wrote in his memoir. "Linda doesn't speak to her. Haven't spoken to Cecil for years. No one speaks to no one." Bobby Womack also experienced profound losses and complexities in his personal life, especially concerning his children. From his marriage to Barbara Cooke, Bobby's firstborn son, Vincent Dwayne Womack, was born in 1966. Tragically, Vincent took his own life at the age of 21 with a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. Barbara also had 2 daughters from her previous marriage to Sam Cooke, Tracy, and Linda. Additionally, Barbara suffered the devastating loss of her son, Vincent Lance Cooke, who tragically drowned in the family pool at just 18 months old. Bobby Womack's own family life was marked by further sorrow. He had 2 sons, Truth Bobby and Bobby Truth, and a daughter named Gina Ray with his wife Regina. Truth Bobby, named at the suggestion of his friend Sly Stone, sadly passed away at just 4 months old after falling into a coma when found wedged between the wall and the bed. This heartbreaking loss plunged Bobby Womack deeper into his struggles with drug addiction. Bobby Truth, his other son, faced challenges with gang involvement and was sent to a youth detention center at around 11 or 12 years old. From his relationship with Jody Laba, Bobby fathered two sons, Corey and Jordan, further adding to the complex tapestry of his family life. In 1974, tragedy struck Bobby Womack's family when his brother Harry Womack was fatally stabbed in the neck with a steak knife by his girlfriend, Patricia Wilson, in a fit of jealousy. The incident occurred after Wilson discovered another woman's clothes in a room where Harry was staying at Bobby's house. It was later revealed that the clothes actually belonged to Bobby's girlfriend. Devastated by Harry's death, Bobby honored his memory by establishing the Harry James Womack Memorial Scholarship Fund. Valued at $50,000, the fund was intended to support minority students in completing their college education, a tribute to Harry's unrealized ambition of earning a degree. Adding another layer to the family's intertwined dynamics, Bobby's former stepdaughter, Linda Cooke, played a significant role in his musical career. She co-wrote his 1972 hit song, Woman's Gotta Have It. Their collaboration continued into the late 1970s when they worked together on her planned debut album. Linda eventually married Bobby's younger brother, Cecil Womack, forming the duo known as Womack and Womack. Their song, Baby I'm Scared of You, featured on the album Love Wars, released in 1983, became a notable single in their repertoire. Bobby Womack openly discussed his struggles with drug addiction in his memoir, Midnight Mover. He revealed that his cocaine use began in the late 1960s, and he became deeply involved in drug culture, particularly during intense binges with his close friend Sly Stone. Reflecting on those years, Womack admitted to Rolling Stone in 1984, "I was really deep into drugs. I was using a lot of cocaine, drinking heavily, smoking weed, and taking pills. I'd stay up for 7 or 8 days straight. Sly and I were like partners in crime." In addition to his substance abuse issues, Womack faced significant health challenges. In 1974, he suffered a concussion during a recording session when he accidentally flipped backwards over an amplifier. This injury led to temporary blindness, a frightening episode that underscored the physical toll of his lifestyle. Bobby Womack's struggle with cocaine addiction deepened significantly by the late 1970s, evolving into a serious dependency. He attributed much of this to the tragic death of his infant son, Truth, in 1978, an event that profoundly impacted him. Throughout the 1980s, Womack battled with worsening addiction issues, which notably slowed down his career. In 1985, after completing a series of performances, he was hospitalized due to a severe blood circulation problem in his left leg. By the end of the decade, he made the decision to enter a rehabilitation center to confront his cocaine addiction, which he eventually overcame. Despite overcoming his addiction, Womack faced numerous health challenges later in life. He survived prostate cancer and was later diagnosed with diabetes. In March 2012, Bootsy Collins revealed on Facebook that Womack had been diagnosed with colon cancer, leading to surgery to remove a tumor from his colon. Thankfully, the surgery was successful, and Womack was declared cancer-free by May 2012. However, by January 1, 2013, Womack publicly acknowledged struggling with memory loss, having difficulty recalling his own songs and people's names. Subsequently, he was diagnosed with early stages of Alzheimer's disease, adding to his health burdens in his later years. Bobby Womack passed away at his home in Tarzana, California, at the age of 70 on June 27, 2014. Following his cremation, his ashes were interred at Forest Lawn Memorial Park Cemetery in Glendale, California, in the Great Mausoleum, Memorial Terrace Columbarium. Across the world, particularly at Glastonbury, where he was mourned as a loss to the entire music industry, the third brother of 5, across 110th Street, was remembered. Despite his complicated personal life, his legacy is undeniable. A renowned singer and guitarist, Womack's musical journey spanned 7 decades and included 28 studio albums. He worked as a session musician with icons such as Aretha Franklin, Ray Charles, Dusty Springfield, and Wilson Pickett, leaving behind a rich musical legacy. While the specific cause of his death was not disclosed, Womack had battled cancer and Alzheimer's disease, alongside a history of drug addiction. Born Robert Dwayne Womack in Cleveland, Ohio, he had been scheduled to perform at the WOMAD Music Festival in Wiltshire the following month. Peter Gabriel, the founder of WOMAD and former Genesis singer, praised Womack's songs as integral to the lives of countless music enthusiasts. At Glastonbury's Worthy Farm, where thousands had gathered, hip-hop pioneers De La Soul reflected on their time touring with him, tweeting, "We had an amazing time touring around the world with him. We love you, Mr. Womack." Bobby Womack, whose mother instilled in him the belief that singing could lift him out of poverty, was discovered at age 10 by soul legend Sam Cooke while performing with his siblings in church. This encounter led to the formation of their group, the Valentinos. In his early 20s, Womack received a pivotal request from Cooke to allow an emerging British band, the Rolling Stones, to cover his song It's All Over Now, which became the Stones' breakthrough hit. Guitarist Ronnie Wood fondly described Womack as the man who could make you cry when he sang. Despite achieving musical acclaim, Womack battled drug addiction, which often caused him to disappear from the spotlight for extended periods. Despite enduring pneumonia, diabetes, 2 types of cancer, and early-stage Alzheimer's disease, Womack outlived many of his contemporaries, including Jimi Hendrix and Janis Joplin. Reflecting on his life, he remarked, "Maybe if I wasn't high, my life might not have lasted so long." In 2012, Womack made a triumphant return with his first studio album in over a decade, The Bravest Man in the Universe, co-produced by Damon Albarn. The album received critical acclaim, marking a poignant chapter in his career. Damon Albarn tweeted, "I will see my brother in church," honoring Womack's impact. At the time of his death, Womack was actively working on a new album titled The Best Is Yet to Come, anticipated to feature collaborations with artists like Snoop Dogg, Rod Stewart, Stevie Wonder, and Adele. Reflecting on his unique style, soul and gospel singer Candy Staton, who had known him since childhood, remarked, "He had a style nobody else could ever capture. I loved him, and I will miss him." Womack had expressed optimism about his future work, declaring, "This is a new Womack, the best you've ever seen. I survived the storm." His legacy as a soulful pioneer endures in the hearts of his fans and collaborators alike. As we reflect on Bobby Womack's enduring legacy, spanning 7 decades of soul-stirring music and resilience through personal trials, his influence on the music industry remains profound. What do you think about his life? Comment below to let us know. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content celebrating the life and music of this legendary artist. See you next time.